Well, hey everyone, and welcome to another Initiative Modeler. Well, since Wonderfest is coming up pretty fast, and I'll be attending for the first time this year, I didn't want to quite get started on a new project just yet. So I thought I would make a short video for you guys and preview a couple models, which I don't do very often. But I just got a couple new ones here. This one, first of all, is the Moebius Models 2001 Space Odyssey EVA Pod. I can tell you when I first read that Moebius was going to be doing a kit like this, I was pretty excited because 2001 is one of my favorite films. And recently I was at my local hobby store, which I'm glad to say we still have one here in San Diego. It's called Discount Hobby Warehouse. I saw it on a shelf and just had to get it. So we'll take a look inside this one. Secondly, we'll be previewing this one here from Star Trek. This, of course, is a Moebius Models release as well. And it's hard to believe it's been 10 years since this movie came out. But this is the USS Kelvin, which you see at the opening sequence of that film. And I always thought it was an interesting looking ship, so I thought this would be a cool build. And the other thing I'm going to share with you are some new lighting options from Modeltrainsoftware.com. As you know, I get a lot of my LEDs from those guys, and they were kind enough to send some samples of some new stuff that they have. So let me start off by sharing those with you first. So the first one I'm going to show you here is called a breathing LED, and this is available in a 3mm LED bulb. It's available in red, green, blue, and white, and I have the blue and the white ones being shown here. So this effect here is where you have the light ramping up and down, and this is something that could be used to mimic maybe a reactor or power source. One model that comes to mind, for example, is a Spindrift from Land of the Giants. I remember that ship had engines that would glow red, and the illumination would ramp up and down in this fashion. So next I'm going to show you here is a pink LED. This is just simply to show you that they are available in this color. The sizes that they come in are a 1.8mm bulb, but also available in SMD sizes like the chip and mega size. What comes to mind? Star Wars models, especially the X-Wing, as you know, have a pink glow to their engines. So this would be very helpful, especially with smaller scale models where there's just not a lot of room for LEDs. So next one I have here is a flickering LED, which has always been available in a 1.8, 3, and 5mm size. However, they're now available in smaller sizes, including the Pico and Mega size SMD lights. So what you see here is a Mega size SMD with the cool white effect. They are available in various colors. And let me just show you a couple examples of how I've used the flickering effect in the past. What I have here is the Galactica, and of course the Viper, which has been outfitted with the 1.8mm bulbs. So you can see they add a really nice touch and help replicate the look that you see on the TV show. And this here is one of two sequential LED kits I'm going to show you. This one's called Warning Sequence Lights. And pictured here is a radio tower. A lot of radio towers tend to have this effect where you see these lights blinking in a strobe-like fashion from the ground up. Wired up here are 3 nano-sized SMDs. They're white in color. And you can see in between the effect is a little pause. And one thing I could imagine using this for is maybe an instrument panel of a ship, just to give it a really cool effect. And this is something that can handle anywhere between 9 to 12 volts. And this one here is called a Night Rider light. So this is comprised of 6 LEDs that are hooked up to a circuit board control. And this provides that scrolling LED pattern that's seen on Night Rider with the kit car. But certainly could be used for the Cylon effect as well. And this is set up to handle anywhere between 9 to 12 volts. Last thing I want to show you are these push switches, which is nice to see now they're available in this black color. In the past they've always been available in white, and I've used these switches in a number of my projects. You can see here this is my runabout model, and there are 3 switches now that are mounted to the stand, which you can see is black. So I've always had to paint them black in the past, but as you can see after using them for a while the paint rubs off and you have to end up repainting them. So it's nice to see they're available now in the black option. So I want to thank Dave for sending these samples down. It's really nice to see they've got some new options for us. When I first started lighting models, I was a bit intimidated by the whole thing, and they were very helpful with answering my questions and having a lot of pre-wired options available. So just drop them a line. I'm sure if you have questions, they'll be able to help you out too. All right, let's go ahead and move on now to our models. Alright, so I spread some of the parts here across this table, and just bear with me, I will be moving the camera around. I'll try not to move too quickly so that you guys don't get motion sickness as you're watching this video. But the model is fairly large, so it's hard to hold the camera in one place. But first let's start off with some of the exterior parts. Now the one thing that strikes you when you first open the box is the size of the model. This is a 1/8 scale representation of the EVA Pod, and I've put a tape measure here just to give you guys some reference. These are the 2 halves of the sphere. We've got the front section, and you can see by looking at the tape measure, it measures about almost 8 inches in width here. And as I hold it up, and pull away, you can see how large it is in comparison to my hand here. And let me pull in a little closer, and you'll see some of the surface detailing. It looks really good. This, of course, is the main window. We've got openings here for the headlights. This piece here now is the back half. This opens up to the hatch here. Again, some of the surface detailing there. And here are some other exterior parts. These go on either side of the ship. The instructions refer them as the earmuffs of the ship. I was looking at some pictures of the studio miniature prior to recording this video, and just comparing some of the markings that I saw in those pictures versus what we're seeing here, and they look pretty accurate. So this is one side here, the other side is identical. It looks pretty close anyway. And then we have the bottom of the ship, which is here. And in this tree, which I'm going to show you now, has the hatches. And moving now into the interior of the ship, we have some of the interior panels here. And here we have the main instrument panel. And this piece here is the interior housing, the upper part, that will contain all of the other, or hold all the other interior panels in place. And this piece here is the flooring. And in this package we have the recesses that hold the front lighting. And here we have more of the instrument panels. You can see the buttons are molded into the plastic there. And these trees hold parts that are for the arms and the thrusters of the ship. And this tree holds all the clear parts, which include, of course, the front windshield, the windows, and some parts for the instrument panels. And here's the beautiful decal sheet that the model comes with. You can see this is all for the instrumentation panels, and we've got other markings as well. And there is a smaller decal sheet also. And finally, these are the instructions. Let me just page through them quickly here for you. The instructions start off with getting you to build the manipulator arms first. Then you move on to the interior, working with the instrument panels. And you put together the ceiling of the pod, and then finally move on to the exterior. The last page of the instructions includes a decal and painting guide here for the interior. And then we've got the backside here, which shows the exterior. So the large size of the model allows us to accommodate LEDs pretty easily, and there is a lighting kit that you can purchase. This one here is from Voodoo FX. As you can see, it provides lights for both the exterior and interior. And I found something else on Cult TV Man's website. This is a kit from Yay Monsters, and it comes with these acrylic pieces. It's called an EVA lighting support system. So it has these acrylic pieces along with these vinyl masks to help with light blocking, and it's all meant to just help make lighting a little easier and more efficient for your kit. One other thing you can do to detail your model even further is to use a photo etch kit, and this one here is from Paragraphics. So whether or not I use Voodoo FX's lighting kit, I'll have to check into that a little further, because I'll go on to Modeltrainsoftware's website and see what I can put together on my own. Sometimes it works out a little less expensive that way. Alright, well that does it for the EVA pod. Let's go and move on now to the USS Kelvin. Okay, moving on to the Kelvin, which is also from Moebius Models. This is a 1/1000 scale model of the Kelvin. And as I open it up here, when I first opened the box, I thought it was going to actually be a little larger, but you can see it's not really that large. But as we look closely at the primary hull now, you can see the panel lines are nicely scribed, which is good because I'm going to be applying a wash. As I look at pictures of the ship, the panel lines are fairly prominent. So we've got all these panels that you see raised here, which some modelers have complained about. These are supposed to be representative of areas that have been repaired on the ship, so they are to be colored differently than the rest of the hull. Some people complain that they're too prominent. I don't know, they don't seem to bother me too much. I'm going to probably leave them as they are. These here are where the phaser cannons go, and we have the bridge here. This is the bottom section now. Now, moving on to this tree here, and this is something that I was a little disappointed to see when I opened the kit. These obviously represent the sides of the primary hull. And this is reminiscent to me of the Refit Enterprise that was released way back when with AMT and Wrath of Khan and all the re-releases of that kit that followed after that. And I never thought that these looked all that great on the primary hull. So hopefully this will assemble better than that kit did. The other thing I want to point out now is that this, again, is a small kit, so the windows are really tiny. So if we're going to light up the windows of this kit, it's going to involve having to take a pin vise and drilling through these little windows. So I don't know. I'll see. The closer I get to building it, I'll have to decide and really think about what I want to do with lighting. The other trees that are included in this part here are just the phaser cannons, and we've got a stand for the ship that shows the name and the registry number. And moving on now to the warp nacelle and the secondary hull. This is a secondary hull here. Again, the panel lines are looking pretty good there, so it should lend itself well to a wash. And again, you can see how tiny those windows are. Some of them are positioned in areas that it won't be worth drilling those out because you're not going to get light through some of these areas here. And then this is the nacelle. And here we have the tree that holds all the clear parts. So this includes a deflector dish and parts of the warp nacelle. And here's a look at the decal sheet. And just a brief look at the instructions. We start off there with the saucer section. Again, you can see those pieces here that go along the primary hull. And then you assemble the secondary hull and the warp nacelle. And then there's a painting guide here, which it says to paint it, the model in warm gray. So it looks like a camouflage gray might be the best for the base color, and then to vary that shade of gray as you apply the Aztek pattern. So the other thing that's included in the kit is a guide on how to apply the Aztek pattern. But what I plan to do is to purchase the painting masks from Aztek Dummy and Lou Dalmasso, who creates those. It'll be much easier to try to mask all this off. But they do provide a sheet if you don't want to do that, so that you can apply these Aztek panels onto the primary hull. So again, there is a lighting kit for this model. It is produced by Voodoo FX, and from the pictures I could make out that it lights up the impulse engines, the main warp nacelle, which includes a glowing light here at the back, at the front, and along the sides. And then there is a light for the main deflector dish and the bridge. I didn't see much else in the picture, so I don't believe that the lighting kit includes any of the windows here. So again, when I get to it, I'll decide what to do with the windows there. I'm just not sure because they are very, very small. So we'll have to wait for that. Okay, well that does it for this video. If you have any questions, as usual, feel free to contact me here on my YouTube channel or at interstellarmodeler@gmail.com. Next video is going to be all about Wonderfest. I'm really looking forward to making it there. I've read a lot about that show and heard a lot about it from other modelers. So looking forward to hopefully meeting some of you guys there. If you see me walking around with my camera, feel free to say hi. Please do. It really would be a pleasure to meet some of you guys in person. All right, so that's it for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.